I haven't got the copyright for this, and my theme tune that I've done for this hasn't worked, so here it goes, right? Me theme about history to me theme a theme about history to
History.
It's not magical or mysterious, but it is a history to
History.
Hi and welcome to the second video of the channel. Thanks very much for coming back. As you can see, I've stuck with the opening titles after all the feedback I've received. Sadly, it wasn't good feedback, but you can't please everybody. If this is the first time that you've seen this channel, please have a look at the first video after this one. It's only 2 minutes long. Okay, so for this video, I cycled from Leamington in the west end of Newcastle upon Tyne to the oldest church currently in use in Newcastle city centre, and then over to probably one of the most significant sites of the religious history of this country. The area that I've set off from is in an area that was known locally as the Holy City back in the 19th century. Speaking of which, here's a 19th century map showing my start point in Leamington, St Andrew's Church in the city centre, and St Mary's Chapel in the Jesmond area of Newcastle upon Tyne. So let's get this started with St Andrew's Parish Church, which is bang in the middle of Newcastle city centre, as you'll be able to hear. It's arguably the oldest church in Newcastle, and it's been documented since 1218, although the exact time that it was founded is unknown. Thousands of people pass this every day. It's right next to several bus routes, and despite the city centre location, it does have a secluded feel once you get into the churchyard. The churchyard is burial place of Charles Avison, who was one of the most important English concerto composers of the 1700s. And if you believe in legend, it's also the burial place of 4 witches. Sir Aymer de Atholl is buried here. He was a knight in the 1300s, and it's believed that he donated the town moor to the freemen of the city of Newcastle before he died in 1402. Inside the church there are 3 cannonballs which were gifted to the Geordies by the folk of Scotland in 1644. The church is made up of the oldest parts, which are mainly inside, and there are 12th and 14th century additions, as well as more recent reconstruction in the late 1700s when the west end of the church was demolished to make way for a new organ. So yeah, as we continue to go through, we can see a memorial to Charles Avison, the composer that I mentioned earlier. Yeah, and as we walk around, you can see how impressive this building is. The tower is made from stone taken from Hadrian's Wall, and as we continue to walk through, we're reminded that we're slap bang inside the city centre. As you can hear the hustle and bustle as you go through, you can see the modern buildings there in the background, and if you glimpse through, once I steady the camera, if you glimpse through those buildings, you can see St James's Park. I want to just fast forward this video a little bit to the point that we can see the city walls. The churchyard is surrounded by, well, I should refer them as city walls. It should be called a town wall. This is what we're seeing now. There's a weird grid inside the city wall there, which is down the side of the church. You can also see there's businesses that are built on top of this wall. I can only imagine what that chamber would have been used for. Maybe it was to housed some of the witches at the time. But as we go down here, we can obviously see there are stained glass windows. They look amazing from the inside of the building itself. But here now we can see these are parts of the original town wall. It looks like there's a staircase up there as well, which is really, really interesting. So yeah, that was the parish church of St. Andrew. Next, we're going to go over to Jesmond. And let's have a look at the old map. So it's St. Mary's Chapel. There we go. And yeah, let's have a look at this, because this is St. Mary's Chapel. It's the oldest church building in Newcastle upon Tyne. I was lucky enough to find this when during my adolescent years growing up in this area. Didn't do any harm, but got up to not much good in this little building, not knowing the significance it had on the world of religion. Prior to the Norman conquest, there was an apparition of the Virgin Mary holding the baby Jesus in this area. The apparition was big news, and the news spread rapidly. The area became known as the Jesus Mound, and is what we now know as Jesmond. As you can see, people still make pilgrimages to this holy site. It was built by the Grenville family in the 12th century. It became one of the most important shrines in Christendom because of the miracles that reputedly took place among the sick who attended the site, and the holy well nearby. By 1428, the chapel had become partially ruined, but due to its religious importance, Pope Martin declared the shrine should be repaired, which it was. The site was of such significance, and it still is, as you can see here. People still use it as a shrine. It was of such significance that the King of England would attend annual presentations here until 1449. You can see there's a stained glass window which someone has installed. It's a really, really important site in terms of religion in the UK. It's unreal how important this place is. It's not known about by many people. But yeah, as I say, it was used by the King of England, visited up until 1449. By 1548, so like 100 years later, it was no longer in use. It changed hands over the centuries, and in 1883 it was given back to the people of the city by Lord Armstrong as part of Jesmond Dean. This building's really significant. It's the reason that Pilgrim Street is called Pilgrim Street, because pilgrims would stay at the establishments there when they were on their way to St. Mary's Chapel. It was such a significant site. Thanks very much for spending the last, 9 minutes with me. If you would give us a like, a share, tell us what you want to see in future. Are there any sites you'd like me to visit? Cheers, all the best. See you later.